Hi everyone. Today I'll be breaking down the concept of Agentic AI. What is Agentic AI and why do we need to know about it and why do we keep hearing about it over and over? So let's get started. Agentic AI is a way to collaborate or orchestrate different LLMs or the same LLM and in a way that they all coordinate and perform a single task. What do I mean by that? Well, here is how you use LLM today. We have something called as prompt that the user sends to LLM, and this prompt can be something like uh, create a browser game, browser. And what LLM does is it comes up with bunch of code. It will be some JS code, JS or TypeScript, and it gives you that code and says, hey, take this code and run it. And you would run it in the browser, and what you see in the browser is errors, and then you go back and so try to sort it out, the error. Now, this is not how, it's very unnatural way of doing things. This is not how we work. If you ask me to write a game in the browser, for me it's going to be a very iterative process. So I will think of some concepts and then I will implement them. I go back and change my initial assumptions, and then after a few trial and errors I will come to the solution. And this is how generally people work, and that's not how we are using LLMs these days. So this is agentic AI in a way. And there is another example, of course, and the other example is that we whenever you ask me to make next big mobile application, it doesn't matter how much experience I have on how many different fields I work in, I'm going to struggle because just needs so many different domain expertise. Any mobile application, it needs a lot of domain expertise. So what do we do generally is that we have, like in the real world, we have something called as supervisor, and then the supervisor will have people with different skills like coder, designer, and then there will be testers. I don't know what the last one would be. I would say, for lack of better idea right now, I'll just say copywriter. Now, these coders and different copywriters will come up with their own tools. So coder will have something like IDE, designer will have something like design tool, and testers would have probably running application, of course, and copywriter will have, I don't know, Microsoft Word. I think people have moved on. These days people use Notion. Okay. uh, so this is a typical organizational setup looks like when multiple people with different skill sets are working. And usually the work comes up like this. The customer will tell us requirements, and that requirement kind of defines what we are going to build, and always the output of the process is going to be compared with that requirement, right? And And in the meanwhile, there will be some intermediate steps, like supervisor might come up with a plan, and then it distributes tasks, it goes and distributes tasks to different roles, and everybody work and collaborate among themselves as and when needed. And then at the end, we have the application. This is a typical real world scenario, but we go to LLM and we say that, hey, do all this. Now, under a single role, it is impossible to do it, because the first of all, what I talked about is one shot approach, wherein we give a prompt and we expect the output to be the final version of the prompt, final output of the prompt, which is very, very difficult. And LLMs, large language models, they struggle a lot when they do that. And then we have this different role based task distribution, and that's another problem. So to solve this, we have something called as agentic uh, system, wherein we have different LLMs and they all assume different roles. Now, you would assume that some LLMs, because if you see, the market is full of different LLMs, right? Like off top of my head, there's GPT, there's Anthropic AIs, there are different Anthropic AIs, and then there is Llama, and bunch of different cloud AI, I think, which is probably Anthropic AI's model. So what do we do is, we, based on different LLM's strength, we can provide them different roles in the workflow, and then let them orchestrate the process and go through the execution and give us the final product. And that's what agentic AI is in a very, very simple way. And at its core, this is what it is. Now, there are uh, few frameworks that allow you to do that. I think AutoGen is one good framework. AutoGen, this is by Microsoft. And then there is LangGraph that I know of. This is all done by LangChain, I think. And then we have also there is Crew AI. This is a off-the-shelf, no-code agentic framework solution. So if you are not willing to invest in coding, that could be a way to go. And at this moment, I would like to stop the video here. And going forward, we will be creating some code-based solutions and some demonstrations of these LLMs. And stay tuned, subscribe to my channel for these updates in future, and feel free to drop me your thoughts in the comments. Looking forward to seeing them and interacting with you guys. Thank you.